West Africa, where a staff team of the International Monetary Fund is currently on the ground in Ghana holding talks with the government and other key institutions over Ghana's request for $3 billion lending facility. The IMF loan talks has upended the Bank of Ghana's monetary policy meeting due to hold this week, now rescheduled for the first week in October. Bringing us to speed on this latest development is Fred Duvor, a licensed dealer and CEO at African Securities based in Accra. Fred, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming through, and we really appreciate making the time tonight for this conversation. So, what are you hearing on the ground regarding the visit of the IMF team to the Ghanaian authorities? Who are they talking to?
Well, we are told the IMF delegation arrived in the country over the weekend for formal negotiations to begin on Monday. We learned, however, today from the Minister for Finance that the team will be here for a 10-day period, and the discussions are currently ongoing and it's advancing quite smoothly. The focus of the negotiation, however, is to determine the form of the program and possibly also timelines. We are told also that a major prerequisite of the fund will be a comprehensive debt sustainability analysis of Ghana's current debt situation, and this analysis will be the basis for determining whether there will be a debt restructuring and what form and magnitude will that restructuring take. Also, we understand that the government has put together a post-COVID economic program which will serve as a blueprint for the negotiation with the fund. So we will get more color on the progress of discussions in the next 5 to 7 days.
Yes, this is the second leg of the conversation. I'm sure this conversation has been ongoing for a couple of weeks before now. Is the IMF asking for an arm and a leg before it gives this lending facility to the Nana Akufo-Addo's administration?
Well, that is a bit too soon to determine. Like I mentioned, what is key on the IMF's agenda is to assess what our debt sustainability situation is. And before they offer us any program or they offer anything, they would want us to put our debt situation in order. So the IMF has been quite accommodating from the time that we announced our interest in seeking a program from them in July. The rhetoric coming out of the fund has been positive. So I really don't think they are going to strong arm us into doing anything that may be harmful to the country.
But what's the mood on the ground when you look at the news, the newspapers, television, radio, talk shows, and others? What's everybody talking about? Is the mood, generally speaking, in Ghana that this is a welcome, this loan facility talk with the IMF is a welcome development to save the city, improve the economy, and help the exchange rate do better and the markets? What's the mood, generally speaking? Tell me.
And it's actually been well received by the public. I must say that even before the government's announcement in July of our intention to go to the IMF, as early as February, there were calls by certain civil society organizations and other prominent people of the need for us to go to the IMF before the economic situation deteriorates even further. So the decision to go to the IMF in the first place was a breath of fresh air and was welcomed well. It is still being seen in a positive light by the general public. What the public is actually waiting for now is for the government or for negotiation to be sped up so that we can reach an agreement soon enough, such that there will be confidence back in the markets.
But is this IMF $3 billion loan facility a positive reading for the financial markets, either on the equity side or on the debt, borrowing, bank credit, what have you? Is it that stimulus that the markets need?
100%. Look, the mere announcement of the program back in July generated a lot of positive sentiment on the market. You could see prices of bonds rallying. You could see that the equity market, the decline in stock prices became more stable and all of that. So currently, what we see is that both the local papers and the Eurobond Ghana Eurobonds are trading at extremely steep discount. Just last week, I think Fitch downgraded Ghana's credit for the second time this year to a triple C, citing the possible debt restructuring, which I believe the market has already priced in. So once the program is agreed upon, I believe the markets will be a lot calmer and investors will be less concerned regarding the economic direction of the country and, more importantly, the government's ability to meet its debt obligations. So I expect the markets to respond positively when the final program is agreed.
Okay, so depending on how the IMF loan talk goes, how should the central bank decide on interest rate on October 8th? What's your outlook?
Well, for me, I believe that the central bank's decision next week, as soon as next week, will not be influenced much by the current discussions ongoing. We know that the central bank focuses on inflation targeting monetary policy. So arresting inflation is the primary aim of the central bank. Currently, inflation is at 33.9%. However, just last month, the Monetary Policy Committee, held an emergency meeting and hiked the policy rate by 300 basis points. Now, the effect of that was that we saw that the month-on-month inflation in August was the lowest that it has been the whole year. So I believe that the central bank will hold the policy rate at the current 22% and monitor the inflationary trend, and it may readjust its decision if necessary at November's meeting.
Very interesting. Well, you're going to keep us updated as the meetings with the IMF go. And of course, we'll talk to you again when the Bank of Ghana actually hold its monetary policy meeting. Thank you so much for those insights, as always. Fred Duvor, CEO at African Securities and a licensed dealer. Okay, see you next time.